Lovey. Now, we all know 2020 has been a wild ride with many unexpected twists and turns. Many of us may be left feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, and a little confused. As we approach the new year, we all need a little reset. That's why I created the Reset Button Bootcamp. It's a 3-day virtual conference for women like us that just need time to take a breath and get re-energized and refocused for the coming year. I provide you with practical tools and templates while guiding you through each step so you can regain your confidence and happiness. You will leave feeling like you have renewed energy and a solid game plan for the new year. If you're interested, head on over to my website at kimberlylovey.com/courses to grab your spot. Spaces are limited, so don't wait. Hi, and welcome back to the Kimberly Lovey podcast. I am so excited to be here with you guys today. You have no idea. I have missed you. I have longed for you. I have been in the middle of a home renovation, and so I've been a little bit displaced, but yesterday I was able to dust off my podcast equipment and bring it back out because boy, do I have an episode for you guys. So I'm going to dive right in. So since we last spoke, I had opened a course called the Reset Button Bootcamp, and I want to talk to you guys about what this course really entails, how it came about, what it offers, and really just share with you the results and just the incredible experience that we had together. So I'll give you a little background. So the reason why I began this bootcamp is because of the stress that I was under several months ago, and just not feeling great. And when I asked some of the ladies that went ahead and joined me, they, funny enough, validated exactly what I had been feeling, and they were feeling very similar. And so when we first started the course, the first day, I asked the group, how are you guys feeling? And I shared, I personally had felt stressed out, frustrated, overwhelmed, on the verge of tears that week, defeated, and like I just wanted to quit life. And I just wanted to know, is it just me? Because it's just been rough. And these women, thankfully, were so kind and trusted me. They joined me for a weekend, and it was only 1 hour per day, so a total of 3 hours. And they came in with an open mind, kind of just wanting to support me, I think, but also feeling like they know that they needed something to change, but they just couldn't figure out what. So they took this leap of faith with me and joined me on the journey. And so the first day we got together and I explained a little bit about, what I had been personally feeling and what I had been through, and asking, how are you guys feeling? And, I said, can you please explain how are you feeling this week, the last several months? And they said, this is a compilation, and I quote, they felt like they were on autopilot, leaning into their routines just to keep it all together. They were feeling isolated. They were not feeling like they were aligned with their family, like maybe just taking on the weight of the family and just trying to keep the ship moving, basically. They feel like the days are blending, things are just getting mundane. One of my friends even said, we have Taco Tuesdays and that used to be exciting. And now I just it just feels like Tuesday again, really? Like just very mundane and routine, and just no excitement, no joy really coming out of some of the things that we previously were feeling joy around. Some of the women were explaining that they're just trying to maintain their composure for their family. And they really want to just be a positive role model for their children, especially in such a stressful time. So they're just really trying not to lose control of their emotions. They felt like they needed a positive outlet, exhausted, no time for themselves, stuck, working a lot in some cases, or not working in a career that they want to be in. And so this was kind of this general consensus amongst me and some of my girlfriends. And it was just that right there from the beginning was very validating. And it's the same reason why I started this podcast, was to form community. And I know that for us, particularly as women, we really want to hold it all together. And there are so many people that depend on us to hold it together. And so in the very first module, after we kind of got honest with each other, I'll say, we talked a lot about mindset, and I explained about the power of the mind and the subconscious mind, and how our brain basically tries to put in the least amount of effort possible to to just keep it all together. And it's kind of our default, that our mind will default to the subconscious programming that we've had for years and years and years. And as we become older adults, you actually have to consciously change your mind and, come up with actions and effort to reprogram your brain. But the good news in all of that is that you can actually reprogram your mind. And we went really deep into some of the science there. And I have some great resources around that. But basically shared this idea, and it was an epiphany for me. I didn't know that this was a real thing, that you can actually reshape and reprogram your brain. It just takes repetition and visualization. And you have to repeat this exercise or these exercises anywhere from 66 to 365 days in order to reprogram your brain, so that your brain then has a new default that says, okay, all right, I give up. You're telling me I'm great. You're telling me I should be performing this way. This is going to be my new default. And your brain will actually then fall back on that new identity that you've created for yourself. And so in this very first module, we went deep into that. And, again, like me, my friends were sort of like intrigued, like, okay, this is interesting. I'm here, I'm listening. And as we dove into the next module, I read to them a quote, and I did adapt it a little bit, and it's from Eleanor Brown. Here's the quote I want to share with you as well. It says, "Rest and self-care are so important when you take time to replenish your spirit. It allows you to serve others from the overflow. You cannot serve from an empty vessel." And so the idea here is that on one hand, as women, we're trying to keep it all together and put on our happy face, but you really can't serve others when you're pouring from an empty cup. Right? If your cup is empty and you're trying to serve others, they're not going to get much. And so this really kind of gave us permission and just gave us this awareness of how important our own happiness really is. And I think as women and mothers and wives, we tend to think that anything self-care is like, I don't know, a big luxury. But I'm here to tell you that anything with respect to self-care is a must, because you are so important in your home. Your energy impacts so many people and is really the foundation and the pillar of the home, that I'm here to really, really encourage you and push you to find ways to make yourself just a little happier every day. I'm not saying we need to go to the spa for 2 hours, especially not in a COVID world. Now listen, I'm breaking out from these masks, you guys, like you would not believe, and the hormones and all the things. It is not pretty. Thank goodness I don't have a video on me right now, because I'm trying to just take a day off from the makeup. But anyway, we digress. So yes, your girl wants a facial, a 2-hour facial, like you can't even imagine. So while I sit back dreaming of this, I'm not able to do it. And like you're probably in the same boat. So with that, I carried the group through an exercise where we got really, just clear and confident, and really leaned into our power and this realization that our happiness is really, really important. And we got very tactical, meaning figured out what specific actions we can take each day to fill our cup back up. And they're in little ways that are practical. And the feedback I got from that is that, wow, these are things I can really do every day. And so in this boot camp, part of it is me kind of making you aware of these broader concepts, but then we get really, really specific and really clear, and you walk out with very tangible action items that will make a huge difference. I make sure that as we kind of go through the exercise of this transformation, it's not just a lot of fluff. I want you guys to step out with a real game plan. And so So that's the first day where we just kind of get clear on how important we are, how we show up, and how we can get really into our self-care in a practical way, even in a COVID world. So the second day, we dive in a little deeper and we start dreaming and we start visualizing our exceptional life plan. And we do this whole guided exercise, and everyone has it in front of them. I send it to you guys in advance. And it is probably the most powerful thing I have done in the entire quarantine. We also talk about reducing noise. So I think it's a function of two things here. So one is really expanding our thinking and allowing ourselves to dream. And again, I have worksheets and we do a guided exercise and we come back together and we share certain things that we feel comfortable sharing, but it's deeply personal and it's very profound. It's extremely empowering too. And so we go through this exercise and we also talk about ways that we can minimize the noise. And I do want to talk about this a little bit further on the podcast as well. So I know a lot of people have approached me and said, how do you get so many things done in your day? You have 2 young kids, you have a full-time job, you have this business, you have your podcast, you have your blog, your husband, your house, your renovation, all these balls in the air. How do you do it all? And I have to tell you guys, it's funny because I had to really think about it. And the one thing that I think I really do differently is I'm very conscious about minimizing the noise in my life. And I know back in episode number 2, when I talked about my 5 tips for success, I talked about minimizing, negative people. And so that is one way. And you guys can go back to episode 2 and listen to that episode. So yes, I am careful of who I surround myself with. I also am very careful about what I allow into my brain as far as content. So about 16 years ago, I realized that I was really stressed out, getting extremely wrapped up in these sensational storylines from the news. And, it was just, I can tell you the stories, Natalie Holloway and so many just awful stories. And I would obsess over these stories because I'm an empath. And so I take on the feelings of all of these different storylines and I have no control. I have no real impact, no ability to impact any of these situations. But here I was finding myself just going nuts, like just all of my extra energy was going into these storylines. I was getting wrapped up into them. And I just finally said, this is ridiculous. I cannot keep doing this. And so I remember I said, I need to stop watching the news. And so now I affectionately call it the bad news, by the way. And some people might say, well, how do you know what's going on in the world? Well, believe me, when you're interested in finding out the COVID case numbers, there's many credible data sources out there that you can research, and I can definitely go and retrieve the information that I need when I need it. And I've found comfortable, credible sources that work best for me. So thanks to the internet, there's no shortage of information. When I feel the need to get educated on something, I definitely am able to do that. And yeah, sometimes I am the last to know about certain things, but I find myself being so much happier. So removing the news was a huge thing. And it's part of my lifestyle. So I forget that I did this and other people don't. And that's why I wanted to make sure that I highlighted that. And the news is just one example of minimizing the noise. And the reason why this is important, by the way, it can be social media, maybe it's too much for you, whatever the case may be. What I've done is I take that free time, even, if it's in the background, whatever, and I have made that productive time by surrounding myself instead with positive information. So that's where these positive podcasts become super important in my life. So instead of watching the news or listening to it on the radio, I'm listening to, a subject matter expert on something in the business field that I'm interested in. I make sure that it's nourishing my brain and my soul. And one thing you can do is, as you consume information, take note of how it makes you feel afterwards. Like become aware of that and just say, okay, I just listened to the radio. Like, how do I feel? Am I okay? Yeah. Okay, fine. The station's fine. Or you consume something, you hear something and it's troublesome to you and now you're anxious. Are you feeling anxious now? Are you feeling stressed out? Do you have any control over it? So, I highlight that because I think it's really low hanging fruit with a huge benefit that I really, really, really encourage you guys to audit and constantly audit what you are allowing into your space. And that goes for not only the people you surround yourself with, which you guys should know how important that is. Again, go back to episode 2 and listen to that because I'm very, very detailed in that one. But also the content and all the things that come into your brain. So I just wanted to highlight that. I did share it in the course, and it's a small thing, but it's actually a really big thing. So going back, we went through day 2, and I mean, this was probably the most impactful thing I've done for myself. And it was just such a joy watching these women go through this exercise and reawaken. As women, we tend to put our dreams aside. We actually forget about ourselves. Once we become wives and mothers, it's like we're so intensely focused on everyone else that we will actually forget about ourselves, which sounds insane, right? But the reaction I got from some of the ladies that joined me was like, oh yeah, I learned that this thing was not important to me. This category, this material thing is not important. Or my one friend said, oh, you know what? I actually had something that came up for me that I used to really care about this. And now I took it off the bookshelf and dusted it off and I can refocus on it again. I forgot about it. This used to be something really important and I haven't been able to focus on it. And so we learned a lot about ourselves and we were able to really get clear on what matters to us. And it's just such a powerful exercise. And then we recorded it. And so they walked away with that recording. And it's something in their toolbox that they can use every day to remind themselves about their goals. Now, the next day, day 3. Now, keep in mind, it's only 3 days, 1 hour each day. So I make it count. Every minute counts in this boot camp. And I do not go even a minute over. So I keep it really, really tight. I run a tight ship because let's face it, we're busy. And so I really want to maximize our time together and give you the maximum value for your time investment and your money investment, of course. So the third day is where we pick one single goal and we just dominate this goal. I basically said to the ladies, if you guys achieve nothing else in the next year, I want you to look through your entire exceptional life plan, and I want you to just pick one goal that we are going to focus on. And they pick their goal, they come in with day 3 with their goal, and we break it down and we get into very specific milestones. And I have templates and we do examples and we come together and we basically go through this exercise of breaking down our goals. And so when we leave at the end of day 3, we actually have a very, very clear idea of what we should be doing moving forward for the next several months, weeks, days, weeks, months, years, or year to achieve the most important goal. Now, I could go on and expand this even further. There's actually even more to all of this, but at a high level, this is the course that I taught my friends, and it was the most incredible thing to watch them transform, you guys. So at the end, I said, okay, you guys, day 1, you came in and you were feeling stuck, isolated, stressed, overwhelmed, on the verge of tears, just trying to keep your ship running. How are you feeling now? And they said motivated, fearless, hopeful. They had a renewed sense of energy and hope. And they felt like they recharged their adult brains since, when we're dealing with children, sometimes our brains go in a different, it's a different part of the brain, we were joking, that is used. And, they just felt like they had clarity and confidence and a game plan. And in 3 short days, they were able to completely transform. And I'm sharing this with you guys because I'm actually opening up the course again. I will open up the course once in December and once in January. And so I encourage you to check it out. Please bring your best friend that you know needs a reset. Call your sister-in-law if she's feeling stuck. I had people calling me saying, my sister, she just went through a bad breakup. She's getting divorced. I've had all different people from all different walks of life that really are just in need of some support. And I promise you, once we get you unstuck, the hardest part is that momentum. And see, this is why I created the course, was because it took me months to figure out these tools and come up with this toolkit and this roadmap. And I did it for myself. And I've gone through a huge transformation, and I know there are so many women out there like me, and that's you. You listening are just like me. And this is really for you because I believe in you and I want you to believe in you. And you know something? I know this sounds a little bit cheesy, but it is my honest belief, is that we really do need you in this world to be your best. We need you to be your absolute best. And you are unique and you have special gifts and you were meant to do something great. And I know that it is inside of you and that you are struggling. And, maybe if you're just hanging in there and maybe you don't identify as struggling, maybe you just want to optimize. The point is, I want to see you be your best, your highest, your best, not hanging in there. I don't want to see you survive. I want to see you thrive. Are you with me? So with that, I need to go pick up my little darlings, and I'm going to say goodbye to you for the day, but I would love for you to join me. Please go on my website. All the links are there for you, KimberlyLovey.com. And if you have any questions, please just email me directly at KimberlyLovey@gmail.com. And I am happy to answer your questions. I also am happy to take on private coaching clients. If you feel like you need more one-on-one attention, please contact me. Let's work something out. But if not, bring your friends, bring your mom, bring your sister-in-law, and let's come together. We need each other. Let's support each other. And suffering silently is no way for us to live. So let's be our highest, be our best, dig deep, and come together. So with that, have a beautiful rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon.